Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be uncovering the secrets behind those books. The ones that just fly off the shelves, the bestsellers.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about more than just getting your book published. We're going deep into the strategies that can make it a real success.
And to help us out on this journey, we've got excerpts from Best-Selling Book Ideas. It's a guide by Malala Media Publications, ready to unlock the secrets to bestsellers.
I'm ready. Let's crack the code of the book market.
All right, let's jump right in. This guide starts by shining a light on some of the biggest mistakes authors make when picking their book ideas. Like a cautionary tale before we get to the good stuff.
Right, and the first one you might think, well, duh, but it's a trap a lot of people fall into, ignoring market demand. It's easy to get so wrapped up in an idea you're passionate about, you pour your heart and soul into it, but if there's no audience for it, well...
Yeah, your book ends up just sitting on the shelf.
Exactly. And that brings us to the next mistake. Overcomplicating the concept. You really got to be able to get the essence of your book across, simply and quickly. Think elevator pitch. Can you hook someone in the time it takes to go up a few floors?
That's a great way to put it. It really makes you realize how important it is to just get to the core of your idea. No rambling, no jargon, just pure, captivating essence.
Now imagine this. You've got this amazing concept, it's clear and exciting, but did you check to see if there are already 10 other books out there saying the exact same thing? That's mistake number 3. Not doing your research on the competition.
The book world, it's huge, it's diverse, but it's also really crowded.
So how do we avoid getting lost in the sea of books? What can we do to make our book idea stand out?
That's where knowing your niche and target audience is super important. And that's where, unfortunately, a lot of authors make another mistake. They try to appeal to everyone.
Right. I get it. It's tempting to try and reach as many readers as possible.
Yeah, you think cast a wide net and you'll get more readers. But really trying to please everyone, it usually ends up pleasing no one. It's like diluting the impact, right? Like trying to be everything to everyone. You lose that special connection with your ideal reader.
Exactly. It's all about finding your tribe. The readers who will truly connect with your unique voice and perspective. So niching down, that becomes your secret weapon.
Okay, so we've got a good idea of what not to do. But how do we figure out what readers actually want?
That's where market research comes in. Think of it like your compass guiding you toward book ideas that are not only close to your heart, but also have the potential to reach a big audience.
And lucky for us, the guide gives us a ton of tools to help us with this research. Let's dive into some of them, shall we?
Let's start with one we all know, Amazon's bestsellers list. It's like getting a peek inside the minds of readers and seeing exactly what's grabbing their attention.
It's a goldmine of information. It's not just about what titles are selling well. It's about the trends, the keywords, the cover designs that are really working.
Exactly. By looking at these things, you can get a sense of what's hot in the market right now. What are readers drawn to? But we're not stopping there. We've also got Google Trends. This lets us zoom out and see how interest in certain topics has changed over time.
It's like having a time machine for big ideas. You can see if a topic is getting more popular, staying steady, or fading away.
Exactly. It helps you ride that wave of interest. Make sure your book idea is timely and relevant. And while we're on the topic of staying ahead of the curve, we can't forget about social media.
Oh yeah, social media is where you really get insights into readers. Goodreads, Reddit, Book Talk, they're all full of passionate readers talking about recommending and sometimes even ripping apart books.
It's a goldmine of raw, unfiltered feedback. You can see what's creating buzz, what themes are really hitting home, and even what covers are catching people's eyes.
It's like having a direct line to your target audience. And you don't even have to send out a survey. Speaking of surveys, though, those are another great tool we have.
You got it. Imagine being able to just ask your ideal readers what they like, what their struggles are. The books they wish existed, reader surveys, give you that power.
It's like having a focus group made just for you, tailored to your specific niche. You can get incredibly specific insights that can really help shape your book idea.
And let's not forget about all the information that's right there in front of us. Book reviews. By really diving deep into the reviews of books similar to your concept, you can learn a lot.
It's like learning from other people's successes and failures. The positive reviews show you what's working, and the negative ones can point out gaps in the market that your book could fill.
Exactly. It's all about understanding what readers loved, what they thought could be better, and using that knowledge to improve and refine your own book idea.
Okay, I'm feeling energized and inspired. We know what mistakes to avoid, and we've got a whole toolbox full of resources to help us figure out what readers are looking for. But how do we take all of this and turn it into an actual book idea?
That's where we go from gathering information to generating ideas, and that's exactly what we'll be talking about next.
All right, so we're back. We've talked about common mistakes and got ourselves some tools for market research. Now it's time to get those creative juices flowing. How do we turn all this information into a killer book idea?
That's where the real magic happens. The guide from Molala Media Publications gives us 3 awesome strategies.
Okay, I'm all ears. Hit me with those strategies.
The first one is all about seeing patterns. Remember all those insights we got from bestseller lists, Google Trends, social media, and those reader surveys?
Yeah, it's all swimming around in my head right now.
Mhm.
So much data, so many possibilities.
Exactly. And within that data, there are hidden gems, recurring themes, needs that aren't being met, and pain points that keep popping up. It's like panning for gold.
Okay, so let's say I'm seeing a lot of people complaining about how complicated personal finance books are. That's a pattern worth noticing.
Exactly. That pattern shows us there's a gap in the market. Maybe there's a need for a fresh and simple guide to personal finance, one that cuts through all the jargon and helps people feel confident about their money.
A financial guide that feels more like talking to a friend than listening to a boring lecture. I love it.
That's the idea. And this takes us right to our second strategy: solve a problem. Think like you're an entrepreneur for a second. What need does your book meet? What problem does it solve?
Okay, so instead of just writing about something I'm passionate about, I need to think about how my book can actually help readers. It's about giving them solutions, not just information.
Right on. Let's say you love history and you see more and more people feeling disconnected from their family's past. You could write a guide that helps them uncover their family history, using resources they can understand and telling stories that draw them in.
So it's like being a detective of the past.
Yeah.
You're not just throwing historical facts at them, you're giving them the tools to go on their own personal journeys.
Now let's get a little wild. Our third strategy is all about combining concepts. This is where you can really unleash your creativity.
This sounds fun. Combining concepts. It's like taking two totally different things and blending them together to make something completely new.
Imagine taking sustainable living and mixing it with interior design. You could write a book that shows people how to make their homes both beautiful and eco-friendly.
It's like combining style and sustainability. You're not just appealing to people who are eco-conscious, you're also bringing in those who love design and making their spaces look amazing.
And that's the awesome thing about combining concepts. You open yourself up to a wider audience and offer a fresh perspective that helps you stand out.
Okay, my head is bursting with ideas. But let's say I've gone through these strategies, found some patterns, spotted problems, and even came up with some cool combinations. How do I know if my idea is actually going to work?
That's where testing comes in. The guide really stresses this. You don't have to wait until you've written the entire book to get feedback.
So no more working away in my little writer's cave, hoping people will like it when it's finally done.
Early feedback is key. It's all about checking to see if your idea is going to fly before you put in tons of time and effort. Think of it like a test run.
I like that. A test run for book ideas. What are some good ways to test the waters?
Social media is a great place to start. Share your book idea with your followers, ask them questions, get some discussions going. Or you can tap into online writing communities and get feedback from other writers and potential readers.
Like having a focus group right at your fingertips. You can see how much interest there is, gather valuable feedback, and even make changes to your idea based on what you learn.
And don't underestimate a simple landing page, even for a book that's still in the idea phase.
A landing page for a book that doesn't even exist yet. How does that work?
It's like a sneak peek, a way to build excitement. You can include a catchy description of your book idea, maybe some sample chapters or teasers, and you can add a sign-up form to collect email addresses.
So it's like planting a seed, watering it,
And correct.
and watching it grow.
Yeah,
You're building buzz and a community around your book before it's even published.
exactly. And if you want to go a step further, you can even run a small ad campaign on social media or Amazon. Try out different titles, subtitles, and cover designs to see what grabs your target audience the most.
It's like a little marketing experiment.
Yeah.
You're gathering data, seeing what works, and adjusting your approach as you go.
Testing and refining, those are essential parts of creating a bestseller. But even with all the research and validation, there's one crucial element we haven't really talked about yet, and that's what we'll dive into in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into crafting those best-selling book ideas.
We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From common mistakes to market research, and even how to come up with ideas and test them out.
We've practically built a roadmap to writing a successful book.
Yeah, and yet there's still this one really important piece that we haven't fully explored. It's like the heart and soul of any book that really takes off.
Okay, you got me hooked.
Yeah.
What is this secret sauce that can make or break a book?
It's all about finding that balance between passion and what the market actually wants.
You mean that sweet spot where our creative spark lines up with what readers are actually craving?
Exactly. It's not about ditching your passions or chasing every trend out there. It's more about finding that overlap where your excitement meets a real need in the market.
So if I'm really determined to write a complete history of garden gnomes, I shouldn't give up on that dream just yet.
Not at all. Maybe there's a way to channel that passion into a format that's more accessible, you know?
Like a fun guide to gnome gardening. Or a whimsical children's book about the adventures of a gnome.
Now you're getting it. Remember those market research tools we talked about? They can help you see how much interest there is, find the right niche, and shape your idea so it connects with readers.
So I could use those tools
Yeah.
to see if there's a whole bunch of gnome lovers out there just waiting for a book like mine.
Right. You might even discover a new angle or perspective that you hadn't thought of before.
Wow, this is making me rethink how I approach writing a book. It's not just about pouring my heart out on the page. It's about really connecting with readers.
And that connection, that's what turns a good book into a bestseller. It's what keeps readers glued to the pages talking about it and telling everyone they know to read it.
We've uncovered the mistakes to avoid, explored inspiring examples, and armed ourselves with all sorts of tools and strategies. What's the one last piece of advice you would give our listeners as they start their writing journeys?
Write with passion, but always keep the market in mind. Don't be afraid to try things out. Test your ideas and make adjustments along the way.
And remember, the journey is just as important as reaching the destination.
Absolutely. The whole process of creating a book, from that initial spark of an idea to the final polished manuscript, it's an adventure.
As we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with one final thought.
What's that story you're just burning to tell? What unique perspective do you bring to the table?
Let those questions be your guide as you explore this amazing world of book writing. And remember,
The world needs your stories.
until next time, keep on diving deep.